Hello, everyone. This is Forrest Price with your Monday Moments. And I'll get to this sign in a second. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for blessing me for another wonderful morning. The sun is shining, the weather's perfect, and I'm in an awesome mood, and I'm so appreciative. Please bless, Lord, everyone in need of a prayer, in need of your love, your support. Everyone who's lost their lives over the weekend. All right. What is the topic today? Well, the sign kind of said it all. I hate both teams. And I truly hate both teams. And whenever this happens, I don't watch the game. What for? I know people say, oh, go out and party and do all this. How can you do that and not watch the game? And not care about the game? Or just wish both teams loses? So, I haven't done it yet. I got a little tally. I'm going to go over all my Super Bowls and to see if either I had a good time, bad time, or I didn't watch it at all. Now, I would say the first Super Bowl I saw was back in 1979. So this will be 40 years of me watching or not watching the Super Bowl. All right, 79. We had the Steelers and the Cowboys. I rooted for the Steelers, and the Steelers won, so that's a yay. Next year we had the Steelers and the Rams. Rooted for the Steelers. Steelers won again. Next year, we had the Raiders and the Eagles. I was really rooting for the Eagles, and the Raiders won. Yuck. So that's a bad. Next year was those 49ers and the Bengals. The Bengals had that game won, and they blew it. I remember watching that. So that's a nay. Next year, we had my beloved Dolphins. See, I got my orange on. My beloved Dolphins against those Redskins and John Riggins. And that's why I hate the Redskins, because they beat us. So that's a nay. Next year, we had the Raiders and the Redskins again. I hate both teams. That was the first year I did not watch. So that's a did not. And it was at least good revenge. The Redskins lost the next year. Next year, my Dolphins were back in it, and those 49ers killed us, which is the reason I hate the 49ers. And I know so many people who love the 49ers. I hold grudges, and I hate the 49ers for doing that to me. 2 out of 3 years, losing the Super Bowl. All right, next year we had the Bears and the Patriots. That was that fantastic Bears team that I kind of hated. I actually rooted for the sorry Patriots, and they got blown out. So that is a nay. All right. Next year, Giants, Broncos. Hate the Broncos. The Giants won. That was a yay. Next year, Redskins and the Broncos. Even though I hated the Redskins, I loved their quarterback. So I rooted for them, and they won. All right, next year, those 49ers. Did I screw this up and say this twice? Am I already going senile? Have I blown? No, they did play the Bengals twice. See, I'm stupid. It was 2 close games. And I rooted for them again, and they blew it again. So that's another nay, a negative. Had to watch a game that my team I was rooting for lost. Next year, 49ers, Broncos, did not care about that game. Next year, the Giants and the run of those Buffalo Bills losing. So I like the fact the Giants beat them. Next year, the Redskins beat them. That's a no. I actually rooted for those Bills. Next year, the Cowboys beat them. I was rooting for the Bills again. Next year, the Cowboys beat them again. And I guess I knew by then they wasn't going to win, but I still rooted for them, and that was probably their worst loss. No, the year before was even worse. They got blown out in both games. I don't know why I would root for them since they beat my Dolphins twice every year. That's how much I hate the Cowboys. There we go. Next year, those 49ers again, they beat those Chargers, and I was rooting for the Chargers. All right, next year, those Cowboys finally beat the Steelers, and yes, I was rooting for the Steelers. All right, Green Bay against the Patriots. I was rooting for Green Bay, which I don't really like, but I hated the Patriots. Really hated the Patriots by then. All right, then the Broncos, they beat Green Bay. I did not care about that game at all, did not watch. Broncos then beat the Falcons. I was really rooting for the Falcons. They did not win. The Rams against the Titans. I was so rooting for the Titans. And they lost. It was actually a boring game. They tried to say how close it was. It was a very boring game. Next year was Baltimore and the Giants. And I think by then I didn't really like the Giants. And I remember I was helping someone move that day. So I didn't watch the game, but I wouldn't have watched it anyway. Next year was the Patriots and the Rams. I think this is the beginning of the Tom Brady thing. And they barely beat the Rams. I know I watched the game. I couldn't believe the Patriots beat the Rams. I would say I actually rooted for the Patriots in that game. I believe I did. I hate the Rams. All right, next year was the Buccaneers and the Raiders. And I loved that game. The Buccaneers kicked their you-know-what. Loved it. Next year, the Patriots barely beat Carolina. And I was rooting for Carolina. Next year, the Patriots beat the Eagles, and I was rooting for the Eagles, and they lost. Then the Steelers, they beat the Seahawks. And I was actually rooting for the Steelers, and they beat them. Next year was the Colts and the Bears. I was rooting for the Bears, and the Colts beat them. I thought there'd be more games I didn't watch. Maybe that's coming up. All right, Giants barely beat the Patriots. Love that game. Good going, Giants. Then Steelers beat the Cardinals. I was actually rooting for the Cardinals in that game. Saints beat the Colts. I was definitely rooting for the Saints. Packers beat the Steelers. I was rooting for the Steelers in that game. The Giants beat the Patriots again. I was definitely rooting for them Giants. Ravens beat the 49ers. Again, I think by then I really hated the Ravens too. So maybe this was a game I didn't watch. Or I was moving someone. I'm not sure. But I know it's one of them Ravens wins. All right, Seahawks killed the Broncos. Loved it. Rooting for the Seattle on that one. The Patriots barely beat the Seahawks the next year. I was definitely not rooting for the Patriots. Then the Broncos beat Carolina. I think I just really liked that Bronco team with that defense, even though Peyton Manning didn't do anything. I would say I was rooting for the Broncos in that game. New England won that overtime comeback against the Falcons. I know I was asleep because that was when I was working nights, so I was sleeping before I went to work. And when I went to sleep, Falcons were ahead. When I woke up, they had blown the whole game. So that really sucks, and I'm glad I still to this day have never watched a second of that game. And the game's about to come up that I can say the same thing for. All right, the Eagles beat... I know I must have skipped something. No, it was the Patriots Seahawks. I still haven't seen a second of that game because of what Russell Wilson did. All right, the Eagles beat the Patriots. I definitely watched that game, and that made me so happy. And last year, the Patriots and the Rams, I did not watch that game. Could care less about that game. And it sucked that either one had to win. All right. So I've actually watched 15 Super Bowls that I liked. And I've watched 20 I didn't. And 6 I didn't watch. And this year will be 7. See you guys next week.